Howdy folks, it's a Tall Turtle here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And no, we're not going to do an air show today. We're going to do our penultimate Jack of all planes flight, 300 miles in each of the 20 standard edition aircraft. And we have two left, this one and the Icon A5. And then we'll be done with the achievement, which means we'll be done with all of the achievements that we can have any control over. And we'll talk more about that in the next video. But for this video, it's all about the Robin Cap 10 300 miles by hand because there's no autopilot. It's going to take about 3 hours or so. Yikes. And but we can do it. We've done a whole bunch of these so far. You know, this is number 19 of the 20, so we can do it. It's getting a little exhausting. I'm looking forward to my shorter VFR GA trips like I normally do. But I figure since this is the last achievement that we have any control over, we might as well get it done. So we're in New Zealand. Can't remember where we are or where we're going. Have to look in the description like usual. But that being said, we will see them, the airport codes, on the map in a moment. We're not doing VOR to VOR or anything like that. Although I do have to make a note to do some VOR to VOR flights in the analog aircraft. I've been forgetting about that because I used to only fly Slant Alpha. And then in this sim, I've been taking advantage of the VFR map and stuff. And forgetting that I can use Slant Alpha, you know. But just I've done it for like 7 years. That's all I did pretty much. So I'm kind of having fun with the maps. Otherwise, not much else to say other than we're in gorgeous New Zealand. And I cannot wait to see what this looks like in this sim with the satellite imagery. It looked great in X-Plane with the HD4 mesh. So now I can't wait to see it with satellite imagery. Real world weather is turned off because it wouldn't be reasonable to fly right now. So you just have clouds forced on, which never look as good when you set up weather manually. If you want to get the gorgeous, amazing weather you see in screenshots all over the internet, you have to have real world weather turned on and hope that it actually works at that moment for the clouds, because sometimes it doesn't work for the clouds. But anyway, let's see, anything else to say? I don't think so. We've flown this plane before, we've crashed this plane before, we've had fun with it before. I need to do some acrobatic stuff sometime, but not today. Does this have flaps? I don't think so. I don't think these acrobatic planes even have flaps. I don't hear them if they do. Is this one that's all in French? Oui, it's in French. Yes, it is. Let's see, pitot heat, which is a French word, right? Anything else? We'll just turn all these lights on. We let the computer start the plane for us so that we make sure the landing registers. Sorry, my other keyboard is in my way. Oh, it does say flaps. Look. Takeoff and landing, but you don't see anything outside. That's very interesting. Anything else to play with? This doesn't have props, or does it? Okay, I can't tell. I just picked up my own volume for a second. I've only flown this thing once. Let's turn my volume back down. Anyway, here we go. Come on. Why isn't this working? There we go. What the heck, mousy? You have new batteries. There we go. New Zealand, November Romeo. That's where we're starting from, and we're just gonna head down. Oh, this whole thing the whole thing fits in the map? Because sometimes it doesn't. That's weird. Romeo Tango. Christchurch is like right here somewhere. We're not quite making it that far though, because we don't have to. 306 nautical miles. Again, it says 300 miles for the achievement, but I don't know if that's supposed to be nautical miles. I didn't want to test it, and I don't want to fall short. No pun intended. So we're just going nautical miles. How come this fits in the map and none of the other trips fit in the map? That makes me nervous. I did look at the right distance, right? Maybe it's just because the way the world is curved down here. Don't know. But anyway, that's where we are, flying by hand. No terrain issues. We're going to see a bunch of mountains, but we're not going to have to worry about any mountains. Maybe there's some here, but that's not that high. It would be these that I'd be more worried about over here. Okie dokie. Without further ado, let's get going here. Let's get close enough we can see where we are in relation to the line. And zoom out a little bit and get centered. Okie dokie. That should be it. And parking brake off and get on those rudder pedals. The problem with flying these acrobatic things by hand for long distances. Why is my sim stalling already? Probably because my hard drive is getting full. I'm recording this before Christmas, which means I'm still recording to my hard drive. But hopefully for Christmas I get a solid state drive that I can record to, because this drive is driving me crazy. It's always been slow. The flaps in, by the way. It's always been slow. It's always been loud. It's always been causing problems with recording. I just didn't want to spend money on a solid state drive at the time. So I got a cheap hard drive and I'm paying the price. But by the time you watch this, I'm sure my hard drive's been replaced. Alright, here we go. That is loud. Holy cow. Yeah, you betcha.
Napier Tower Turtle Hook Tango Sierra 4105. Continue for south departure.
Great. Alright. So what we can do if we don't want to use the map is we can always use the GPS and get this line to be over our arrow. That's all. We'll worry about that in a moment. I just want to hand fly this out. You get some great views. Wow, this looks good. I've talked to you before about how sometimes the satellite imagery actually looks worse than just having the mesh on. But in this case, the satellite imagery is amazing, and I knew it would be. And that's just because they don't have the same quality satellite everywhere in the world, because that's where the airplanes will fly and get the imagery. It's actually not satellite imagery, it's phototelemetry or something. I know I keep saying satellite, but it actually isn't. It's airplanes flying overhead. Look at that. This might be better from inside, actually. Oh yeah, so I fixed my presets. They're backwards. Looking into the woods and the mountains in the distance. And let's do a wing down for a second so we can have a peek. Wow. Look at that. Alrighty. Let's get back on track. In fact, we're so far off, it's not even on the GPS. So let's go over here. Let's zippy back on track. We're not going to fly too high. Some of these flights we've been flying really high, like 8,000–10,000 feet. And the problem with that is we don't get to see a whole lot. So I think for this one, we're going to actually fly pretty low, unless there's terrain, just so we can see some stuff. Because what are we at right now? We're barely at 2 grand, and I think we're going to stay that way until we get to that train in front of us. Oh, but we're going to overspeed though. Look at the RPMs. Let's keep them out of the red. There we go. And these planes are really touchy, although this one is less touchy than the other one that I can't think of its name right now. But that other one we flew the other day was horrible. You would just think about touching the yoke and then do a loop or do a roll. So what I'm going to do, man, I might not be able to trim this very well. Acknowledge.
Napier Tower Turtle Hook Tango Sierra.
What I want to be able to do is trim this out. It's not going to replace autopilot, but I want it to be close so that I don't have to like totally heavy hands on. But that might not work in this case. Also, is there a clock in here so I can see how long it's been? Alright, we set my barometer around 3,000 feet up. That's what I thought. That is more like it. So anyway, I got used to this aircraft. I want to trim it out so I don't have to hold on to it so tightly. And I just want to be able to let it fly easily. Oh, maybe it'll trim out. I was just having a hard time in the beginning. Well, there we go. Now we're trimmed. I'm hands-free right now. Sweet. We'll just trim it down so we stop gaining that much altitude until we need to. Nice. I love it. I'm going to try to use my GPS as best as I can without pulling up that map, because that'd be more fun. And then doing 198 on the compass. Sweet. Okay, we're slowly going to rise, I know, because we have terrain coming up. But otherwise, that is it. Oh, if you have one down here, that's working. Look at that. Good. That's just an in-op on it. Alright. Simple enough. Great. If I keep talking, I'm just making up crap to say. So I'm going to journey to sightseeing for a while. I'll jump in if I have anything to say. Otherwise, I'll see you in like 3 hours my time. But I can't imagine I'll go that far without having to say something. So we will see you in a little bit. Just a little mid-flight update for you here. We are going pretty close to these mountains, but we're actually having a diversion from our VFR map. The map, if you go direct, wants to go right over these mountains, which, if we had icing and stuff, would be fine and would be fun. But since we don't have icing, I don't want to go up there. So we're actually just going to divert around the mountains, not a big deal, and then we'll reconvene on the other side here. So it's not that much of a difference, even though the map might disagree. But it'll be fine. We're what, 3,000 feet or so. I don't want to go much higher. We have hit a few clouds without icing, so that's been okay, but I'm nervous about running into some ice. Man, those trees look bad. That's kind of funny. Sometimes they look good, sometimes they look bad. This airplane, though, from this angle looks okay, but from the side, it just looks so cartoonish. I don't know. Some of the airplanes look good, some of them look bad, so I love the scenery and everything, but the airplanes in general, to me, look cartoonish. So if they could take the X-Plane airplanes and put them in this sim, of course it'd be, you know, best of all worlds, but maybe we'll get there someday. Maybe we'll get there. But otherwise, I'm enjoying it. This is a great shot right here. I know that was quick. Didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to tell you about our little diversion. And we're going to come around these mountains here and then go to the right and rejoin our direct route. And then I'll see you in a couple more hours. Just messing with the GPS, and actually let's move this over so I can see them both, see what I'm doing. That's going to extend my range. And it's not extending, right? Because it's stuck at a mile. So I thought maybe, perhaps, the GPS is stuck, but the buttons are moving, and the menu moves. So I don't understand why it's doing that. I don't get it. That should be frequencies, yep. Yep. I don't know. Let's get back to 198 here, and then get back on track there. Interesting. Anyway, we're about to reach landfall, more or less. And the reason why I say that is because we're actually not going to hit landfall for quite a ways. We're just going to be following the coast for a while. And there we go. There's 195. We'll sit there till we realign. And it's looking good. Looking absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous scenery between the major upper and lower portion of New Zealand. And it's been a great flight. This is actually not bad to fly for an acrobatic plane. Much easier than the extra, that's for sure. I've been able to trim it out and just kind of let it go and tap it every now and then, tap the yoke every now and then. But for the most part, it's been really good. I'm pretty happy with it. That being said, I still have to be very careful of these clouds, though, for example, right here. So I've been avoiding the clouds, going up and down, left and right. The temperature's pretty high, though, so I don't think we'll have icing even in a cloud. I just don't want to chance it. I'm just concentrating on this cloud. So that brings me to the next thing. Is I'm trying to decide, do I want to go along the coast the rest of the way, like just follow the coastline, follow it around, and then land? Or do we want to go through the hills, the mountains? So I was thinking at first, looks like we can carve a way through the mountains here, right? Just carve our way through and actually avoid anything of high altitude. But we're only at 3,200 feet and we're in the clouds. And the temperature is fine down here in the clouds. But if we get up here, I guess, where is it? Here, and then, well, we'll follow the coast there for sure. But when we get like up in here, especially here, the temperature might drop enough that we end up icing up a little bit. I'm still tempted, though. I'm still tempted because if you look right in front of us, well, that's actually this right here. But I don't know, I think I can do it. I think I can hug the terrain enough that we can avoid the clouds mostly. We'll see. It would be more interesting to go through the cloud or to go through the mountains, wouldn't it? But for this first part, I'm going to follow the coast for sure. And then once we get to here, I'll have to make a decision based on what it looks like. If we can just cut through. So I think that's how we're going to plan it. Not much else to say other than gorgeous sightseeing, and I'm listening to NPR Tiny Desk concerts on my phone while we fly. And that's about it, really. So we're going to avoid this terrain by going around, and then we'll go through the mountains, I think. I'm really hoping that works out. You'll find out when I find out, because I'll either avoid it or do it. I won't even have to say anything, you'll just see it happen. So I'm going to fly for another, what do we got? Oh, another, how long is that going to be? If we calculate our ground speed is down there as well, another 48 minutes or so. Okie dokie, I'll see you then. quite a bit of turbulence going through these mountains. I should have expected it, but again, with the simulator I came from, where there is no turbulence simulated, I was taken aback a little bit, although I should know better, right? So let's see, our airport is already on the airport list. It's quite a ways away though. We can't exactly see it from here, and we're not on the track. I'm just avoiding turbulence, or at least I was. Still turbulent. It says it's 53 miles away. That's fine. Let's tune in the tower. Where are we going to? Romeo Tango, right? New Zealand Romeo Tango. New Zealand Romeo Tango. Where are you? I already saw it when I went through this. There it is. Romeo Tango number 5. Tune in. Oh, it's untowered. Okay. We don't need to worry about weather. So which direction are we facing right now? We are facing about 199 degrees. So whatever's closest to 19 would be 21. So that is number 5. Announce full stop landing. Announce your position a bazillion miles away. What is it? 52 miles. So we have that tuned in, so it's ready to go. Less work later. Otherwise, we'll look around a minute here. We still have a lot of turbulence. A lot of turbulence over this terrain. Probably coming off that there. So this should smoothen out. And that is a nice shot right there, isn't it? Wow. Look at the dirt roads in the mountains. Look at that, the wide rivers coming down. Incredible. Just incredible. So let's see here. Anything else to do or say? We can probably get back on track now or aim that direction. We have some terrain to go over though, it looks like. So we might have to climb. I was almost thinking climbing over these clouds. But I will only if I have to. Otherwise, we have this bump right here is going to be that bump right there. We might go around it a little bit. And then after we get past that bump, we can go nice and low and go around that. So I'm not worried about terrain. I am a little worried about icing. Hopefully it's warm enough, or else I'll just like shoot straight up over a cloud or something, which they have done in real life. There are videos of that when people get stuck in IMC and have to avoid icing when they get above the clouds. Man, oh man, it's scary stuff, but you got to be very serious about it. So anyway, I'm going to avoid this cloud coming up and keep flying for another 52 miles. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, breaking in already. I just noticed something, especially with this cloud over here. Not only are the clouds all random and amazing, but they change. Look, it's changing in front of us. I don't know if we caught that during sightseeing too, when it was a big, like, donut, and it went away. So not only do the clouds move, obviously, not only do they go all the way to the horizon, and not only are they all completely random, but they change. Look at that one. Changing as we move. That is freaking incredible. Again, I'm going to say it and compare it to that other simulator where I paid for weather, like $40 or something for weather, and this is unmeasurably better, and it's just part of the simulator. We are on the home stretch. Airport is down there somewhere. Now I know when it comes to sightseeing bits and interludes of narration and commentary, it doesn't seem like that long for you all watching, but holy moly, these flights, almost 3 hours at a pop, hand flying, especially with all this turbulence when we go over the terrain, is quite a feat, to be honest. This is probably the most difficult achievement, and aside from like the 1,000 hours and all that, which that just happens over time. That's not even difficult, that's just time. But this is probably the most difficult achievement. I'm glad we're almost done with it, to be honest. It'll be a great sense of accomplishment. And I have plenty of other things to do, so it's not like we're running out of things to do. So let's start coming down now. What is our position anyway? Must be pretty close by now. Yeah, 17 miles. So it's just down there somewhere. We will rely heavily on our map to find the airport. So we're just going to follow the GPS until we see an airport come into play here. Let's just use that. We obviously went over the mountains, which weren't too bad, just a lot of terrain. And I don't see an airport yet. We'll probably, if we don't spot it, we'll just fly over it. However, it's just going to be a dog leg to the right. So hopefully we can see the airport pretty simply and then just turn right and land. We'll keep our speed up for a while. I'm keeping my eyes peeled. Oh, look at that beach off in the distance. Oh man. Obviously, I don't get to travel much. I've mentioned that many times before, so going into the flight simulator is as good as it's going to get for me, which is one reason why I enjoyed so much. Alright, we're 1,500 feet. Let's not get any lower. This train the train turbulence exaggerated because it's not flat ground. How would you land on this? This is a little much, I think, for train tribulation. Train turbulence. Alright, let's see here. Our airport should be off to the right very soon. I'm coming out the way like this because the runway is going to go this way, and if we go right on it, we won't be able to have a decent approach. So we're just going to come off a little bit and keep an eye out for it here. We might be a little too low too soon to see anything. We're only a couple miles away. 13, yeah. Alright, let's get some altitude again so we can see what we're doing. We got too low too soon. Let's just take advantage and go up. What's the G thing say? Oh, only 1 G. Okay, there we go. Well, we're gonna stall. There we go. See how quick that was? Oh yeah, we can't leave the flight without at least one stunt. So we'll just do a barrel roll because we're so close to the ground. Hopefully you don't crash because that stink after flying all this way. There we go. Alright, where are you, airport? I don't see you. Is that it right there? No, that's not it. It's funny how it always feels like the last few minutes are the longest, right? We just flew for almost 3 hours by hand. But now that we have mere minutes left, if even a minute left, it feels like the longest time. Just to find the last minute. I'm really distracted by that beach. Man. I'm not one to like hang out at the beach. First of all, we can't really do that here in Minnesota, but I'm not one to just like hang out at a beach for like hours and just sit in the sun and bake. I don't quite understand it myself. Even if you have like a book or something to do, it just seems so boring, and I'd rather be doing creative things, but to each their own, of course. And maybe if I lived by a beach and understand it. That being said, I'm fascinated how beaches look, and I like to stop by a beach every now and then. I think this is our airport here. Maybe. I like to stop by a beach. No, it's not. And check out the water and the sand and stuff, and then move about my day. Right. I don't like touristy things though either. I just like doing creative things with culture that isn't touristy. So I'm really distracted looking for this airport. I should probably stop talking about unrelated things. Where is this airport? Oh, not over there. Oh, that's a cool city though. Racetrack or something? Alright, gears always down. We'll do flaps in a minute. I'm just going nice and slowly till I actually spot this airport. Oh, there it is. That is the airport, I think. No, because the runway is 21 and we're facing 24. I'm so confused right now. Are we over right now? No. Why don't I see anything resembling an airport, even though we're about to cross over it? This is so weird. We're in flap range, so let's do flaps. I mean, that sure looks like a runway. Maybe there's a runway 24 there as well. And then we're gonna dogleg to the left. I mean, I've had my eye on this like for the longest time, and that I think it's 2 grass runways, and we're gonna land on not 21 because I can't find 21. I think 21 is right here, actually. So we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna change runway and get in trouble. Second set of flaps. We're going to run on whatever this is, 24, 25, something like that. Because I don't know exactly what 21 is. Okay, for tail dragger, we're coming in way too low. We're supposed to come in hot and bleed off afterwards, but we're just going to do the best we can since we have no idea where we are. Land right about stall speed. And come down, bleed it off. Ground effects should come over any second. Let's actually get centered for the first time. Alright, here we go. And there's a hill. I want to avoid that bump. That's why I'm waiting so long to touch down. There's 21. There's just 2 grass runways. Ground effects. Ooh, there's 1 bounce. Good. Nope, 2 bounces. Yuck. Whatever. 2 bounces on a hilly, bumpy runway. Not terrible. Okay, don't freeze now. Jeez Louise. Alright, let's get out of here. That's why I was confused, because it was 2 grass runways. I didn't realize I was looking for grass. So we landed on the wrong runway, but whatever. Let's just go over here where everybody else is parked and hopefully get our credit for the flight towards the achievement. And now it's clear of runway.
November Zulu Romeo Tango
just go over
traffic
here.
Turtle Tango Sierra
Oh, there's a fire truck back there.
4105 is clear of the runway.
Man, that was startling. Nice looking airport modeling though. I don't see our lightsaber person. Wait, is that them way up there? Nope. So let's just park here and hopefully we get the credit. I'm thinking you just need to land. You have to take off, I know that much, and get recorded. I don't think you really need to have the landing. I think you just need to go 300 miles. I don't know. We'll find out in the next flight though, because the achievement will ring in our ears. Alright, here we go. Set the parking brake. Come here, bring everything back. It's hard to remember how to turn this off. Let's see here. Turn everything off. And this. No, not that. This. And that. There we go. Awesome. Let's make sure it counted. It should be 95%. And there it is. 300 miles. 95%. That means we have 1 plane left. It's going to be the Icon A5. And we're going to fly Minnesota north to south, because then I will know where we are and it'll be more interesting, because the Icon is going to take like 4 hours. It is the slowest one. So I want to fly where I know what I'm looking at, just to stay interested. So hopefully you join me for that flight. Hopefully you enjoyed this one as well. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. So we can play the YouTube algorithm game and people will see my videos in the recommended section of YouTube. And I'll see you next time.